Nice!
Hey YouTubers, Grimmy here, and this is the video review for the Transformers Generations Combiner Wars Stunticons. Now, instead of doing each Stunticon one by one, we're just going to go through, get them all done at once, and then get Menasor in there too. So, expect a somewhat longer video. But anyway, taking a look at our Stunticons in vehicle mode, we got Breakdown, Drag Strip, Motormaster, Dead End, and Newcomer, Off-Road. Apparently Wild Rider decided to take a powder. I don't know if there were some contract issues or if he just got tired of these guys. So they decided to let Off-Road into the group. Apparently had him do a Wild Rider vehicle mode paint job just to make him fit in better. But in any case, here are your Stunticons. And we'll just start with Off-Road because why not? You got this nice Wild Rider-esque paint job on him. But you may notice something very unique. He is a truck. This is not a car. And I'm okay with that. I mean, it is a very nice looking truck. Like I said, it has a very Wild Rider-esque vehicle mode deco. You got the red windshield, red windows, the silverish gunmetal gray hood part. And it's not the whole hood, it's just a part of the hood. So yeah, I'm not sure what else to say to it. And you got those red stripes on the side. And all in all, this does look really nice. In the bottom, yeah, you can see the robot, a little bit of him. But all in all, he works pretty well. And the weapons do fit onto the vehicle mode quite well. There is a peg spot on the back of the truck so you can put the combiner part, and you can actually peg the axe onto the side. So it's easy to store the weapons. Next up, we'll look at Dead End. A very nice vehicle mode. As you can see, a lovely shade of maroon. Has a nice metallic swirl to it. Really looks good. Stripe is there, but a little lacking. I would have liked more detail. Maybe Repro Labels can fix that though. But all in all, yeah, it looks pretty good. A lot of nice paint work. They painted the hubcaps, which is great. If I were to nitpick at anything, it'd be these gray bits right here and right here at the center of the vehicle mode. Kind of breaks it up in a bad way. I would have liked it if they kept with that maroon color. Would have made the whole thing flow better. As you can see, the combiner thing could peg at the top, become that classic double-barreled gun, which we've seen on the classic Stunticons, or the G1 Stunticons, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's there and accounted for all of them. Drag Strip, which was the first Stunticon to be released for the Combiner War series. He was out with 3 of the aerial bots. And he's that Formula 1 racer. Well done, a lot more maroon or magenta on him. I think that's more of a maroon. But he does look good. Again, no 6 wheels. This only has 4. but I can live with that. And the peg on the top is actually for the combiner piece, where you can just peg it in. It'll be the double barrel cannon, and then the sword actually just goes into one of these two side pegholes. But yeah, it doesn't look so great in there. But all in all, it is a very nice vehicle mode, and I do like it. So we'll get him back in place, and then go to Breakdown, who is a nice little off-white Lamborghini-like car. It's not a perfect Countach, but it still looks very good. Once again, the weapons just peg at the top. And the sword, this slot here will go into, well, this peg here will go into this slot right there. Nice and tight. The only other way to put it on would be to just peg it in the back like so. Drag strip sword can do the same thing, but that's not very attractive either way. But the paint job is done nicely. Got the painted windows. This 15 Racing logo right on the windshield. Not sure how safe that is. And again, since when did the Stunticons care about safe driving? Got a nice Decepticon symbol right on the front. And hard to tell. Yeah, and that red does look pretty good. For a moment, from certain angles, it kind of looks like there's a metal flake to it, but I'm not sure if that's really the case. You do have that nice blue at the bottom, very classic Breakdown style. And yeah, the bottom does a good job of hiding most of the robot, which is really cool. But last but not least, let's get to Motormaster. And Motormaster does go through some significant changes. He is no longer a truck and trailer, he's just a truck. So yeah, that's that. He is a repaint / retool of the Combiner Wars Optimus Prime from Wave 1. Although he may be the original design while Optimus was the afterthought. That many fans are speculating that point. And it does make sense. All things considered, I would imagine Motormaster would be the first idea. But he is a very nicely done semi-truck. Nice cab. Mostly in this kind of gunmetalish gray, which is a bit of a departure from the usual black, but you do have those purple windshields. Although the purple paint could have gone a little bit more. Like, get the windows on the sides. I mean, it doesn't even feel like they got the whole windshield. Which is kind of a nitpick I had with Optimus. Although I haven't reviewed Optimus yet, I know. But yeah, you got the headlights are painted. You do have purple stripes. And they painted some of the black bit on the back, a little bit of that gunmetal as well, which works out nicely. You even got a teeny tiny little Decepticon symbol right on the grill. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Weapons just peg into the back right onto the trailer hitch. Unfortunately, the hubcaps are not painted on Motormaster, which is sad because they actually got that right with the other Stunticons. But before we go on to any further, let's get some comparisons in. Again, we'll start with Motormaster. get him with his G1 self. And yeah, G1 Motormaster is tiny compared to Combiner Wars Motormaster. Of course, that's something to be expected. And next, we'll bring in Fans Project's Diesel, who is actually much longer. The cab's shorter and smaller, but the figure itself is much longer than Combiner Wars Motormaster. I mean, you put the section that actually is the robot together with Motormaster, and yeah, they're pretty close to the same size. But yeah, complete Diesel's a little longer. And that takes care of that. So let's get on to the next dude. We'll do Dead End. And once again, we'll get him with his G1 self. And it's amazing how tiny the G1 toys look next to these Combiner War figures. Dead End's gun is in storage right now, so I'm not going to be bringing that out, but yeah. Looks really nice. I mean, the colors match pretty closely. G1 Dead End is a little lighter, but that's okay. I do like the colors. Again, you can see that the stripe is more detailed on the G1 toy, even though it's a sticker. But it's just one gold stripe on the Combiner War toy. Maybe retro labels will help out with that. I'm kind of hoping so. But we got one more, and that's Last Chance from Fans Project. And yeah, I mean, I can tell the difference in the colors, but and the size, of course. But again, the difference that I tend to focus on is that stripe. If someone can improve that stripe, it will go a long way for Dead End. But anyway, next up, out of the way, and that would be Drag Strip. And so we'll get the G1 Drag Strip out here. And again, the difference is mainly the wheels. G1 Drag Strip has about 6 of them, while the Combiner Wars version has 4. The Combiner Wars toy does have more maroon on it than the original did. And the overall style of race car is a little different. But you know, this is an updated toy, so that's to be expected. But all in all, it's still not a bad design and not a bad job of updating Drag Strip. Now, bringing in the Fans Project Downforce. Again, differences are pretty significant between these two. Closed canopy versus open one. And then the overall design is different. And honestly, I like the Combiner Wars better. This one is the one where I like the Combiner Wars better. The look of the other Fans Project figures I do like a little more than the Combiner Wars ones. But there's a lot more to think about than just looks. Okay, but speaking of the next one, let's see, we got Breakdown here. So while we bring in G1 breakdown, we can take this off, get a decent comparison. And as you can see, the colors are a bit different. This one's more of an off-white than this one, even though this is off-white as well. And you'll see that in a sec. But yeah, I mean, you can tell where the design choices came from. Like all the things are there, the red hood, the blue stripe, and spoiler. I mean, this is definitely a really good G1 homage to this guy. But bringing in the combiner, like the Fans Project piece, you can see Fans Project's breakdown is much wider, which is a bit of a knock against the Fans Project one, in my opinion, because I do like this one's colors better. And yeah, I'm probably bouncing left and right as far as which one I like better between Intimidator and Combiner Wars Menasor. But, you know, both are really good, so yeah, I'll probably bounce one way or another again soon. But, yeah, there are definitely similarities between the two, but there are differences. So last but not least, let's bring in the new guy, Off-Road. This might be the trickiest one, but since he is colored right for this, in vehicle mode at least, let's bring in Wild Rider, the G1. And yeah, you can see a lot of the deco choices from Off-Road came from this guy, like the way the hood's done. Tell it's done similarly there. The red windshields, the overall color. Yeah, there were a lot of cues taken from this guy when they made this one, even though they didn't make him Wild Rider. Which kind of bugs me because Wild Rider's my favorite of the Stunticons. Thankfully, Hasbro has announced that Wild Rider and Slingshot will be getting figures, and from what I understand, they'll be coming out around the beginning of May. But let's compare Off-Road to T-Bone. And again, slight differences, but you know, there are a lot of similarities as well. The gunmetal stripe or hood piece, the red windows, the color's darker on T-Bone, but you get the idea that they were designed the same way. But anyway, that does it for the comparisons. It's time to get these guys into robot mode and see how they look. Okay, now we got the Stunticons in their robot modes. They are all looking really nice. Let's see, who do we start with first? There's so many good choices. How about we start with Drag Strip since he was the first to come out. As you can see, he's a nice looking robot. Very well done. The yellows, the silver, and the maroons actually go well together. And pardon me for knocking over Off-Road and Dead End. But we'll get to those guys in a moment. Oh no, he's done very well. The face sculpt is very nice. Got that nice red visor that looks like it's bleeding down. Very sinister looking. Appropriately so. And for his weapons, he has his sword and a twin-barreled gun, which is the combiner part. So you got, it's pretty awesome. For articulation, he has ball-jointed shoulders, bicep swivel, hinged elbows, a hinge on the wrist, a ball-jointed head, waist swivel, ball-jointed hips, thigh swivel, knee bend, and that's pretty much it. That's actually standard for all the limb bots. There isn't any variations I can really note, except for maybe some have double jointed limbs, which I'll get into as they come along. For a quick comparison, since we got them right here, let's bring in the G1 dead end, who again very tiny compared to this new deluxe. And we'll bring in Downforce, who again is a little smaller than Dragstrip is. Downforce was more of a scout-sized figure, while Dragstrip's a deluxe. Yeah, I mean, so far so good. I like the way he's done. The only kibble is a backpack, which is not real big. So yeah, he turned out good. Next up is Breakdown. And yeah, backpacks are going to be common with these guys. But again, really nicely done color scheme. A lot of blue in this form. And still has that nice off-white. Now he does have the double jointed elbows. There's a ball joint and a hinge on there, so he's got a little bit more range in that. And the ball joint will act as the bicep swivel. Otherwise, his articulation is about the same as the others. So he pretty much matches up pretty well. His gun, as you can see, has a nice blade on it, so you can use it as a gun or as a sword. So you got nice options with them. And he also has his double-barreled cannon, which has these really big barrels compared to Dragstrips. Might notice a little bit of paint variation. I think this is actually painted purple with the blue plastic, so that's why there's a variation there. But all in all, nicely done. And for his face, yeah, he's got that blockhead, but it is a very nice face. I do dig it. Next up, oh, before I'm getting ahead of myself again. But yeah, let's bring in G1. Breakdown. Again, super tiny. And we'll also bring in Car Crash. So you can see a nice little evolution here. And while the third-party toys are very nice, this one's a lot more fun to transform. I mean, that's one thing I gotta give these Combiner Wars figures. They are a blast to transform, all of them. And that will put them above the Fans Projects toys, because they are easier, more accessible, and more fun to actually shift from form to form. But next up, we'll get into the new guy, Off-Road. As you can see, he's got a lot more blue to him than he did in his vehicle mode. again, this is not Wild Rider, so yeah, take it as you want. But he is done very well. Still got a nice bit of red and black, or gray, but that blue does help break it up a bit and sets him apart. The face, very well done. I mean, it's an interesting head sculpt. I think they actually had it based on another Decepticon, maybe a Micromaster of sorts. I don't know the exact way. From what I don't know exactly, but I did hear that it was based on another Decepticon. So it's nice that they're still homaging other characters. But yeah, he's looking pretty good. His weapons include an axe, and his combiner weapon thing, this is a 4-barreled gun. So yeah, he's ready to shoot you like nobody's business. All in all, I do like him. Now, Dead End. Someone I can kind of relate to. I mean, he's a bit of a downer, but he's got that cynicism that I like. His paint job is done exceptionally well. Nice bit of maroon and gray with some gold bits. Well, bronze and orangish gold bits. Nice Decepticon symbol on the chest. All the details are done well. Again, he's got a backpack done similar to Off-Road's. But the head is gorgeous on this guy. And let's just get a closer look. Love that visor. It's got that jagged bottom, and he's got the mouth plate. Looks very much like the G1 Dead End. And still has a bit of an update to him. For his weapons, he just has a pipe to beat people up with. Okay, I'll take it. Looks cool. And he also has his combiner gun, which is very interesting. A double-barreled gun. Looks pretty cool. And we'll get the comparison with his G1 self. This tiny little guy. And we'll also get Last Chance. So yeah, you can see that they're actually going pretty close together. And I know I didn't bring out T-Bone or Wild Rider because Off-Road is not Wild Rider. Gonna just make sure everybody's aware of that. I'm sure there's already a few comments in there. But yeah, that's Dead End. And now for the big boss himself. Gotta bring in Motormaster. And Motormaster is a nice beefy beast. You know, this one's a repaint of the Combiner Wars Optimus Prime. Although most think that he was the original idea, while Optimus was the repaint. Either way, this guy turned out pretty good. I mean, has a very G1 figure feel, especially in that big boxy head of his. Looks very much like Motormaster. Not sure if the black was necessary in there, but still looks really good. Nice Decepticon symbol. And I'll probably get into it more in Optimus's review, but they did a lot of retooling for this guy. So he looks completely different from Optimus Prime. I mean, I'd say the whole upper body is a different sculpt, Well, they just kept the legs the same. But for articulation, he does have a ball jointed head, which is good. Forward, backward at the shoulders, as well as in and out, and the in and outs are ratcheted. He has bicep swivel, hinged elbows, but no wrist joints, which is sad. He does have a waist joint, ratcheted hips with gut forward, backward, in and out. He has a thigh swivel right above the knee, bend at the knee, and he has a toe joint, which is more for transformation, but still there, which is good. So for his comparisons, we'll bring in the G1 Motormaster and a super armed up Diesel. And Diesel's going to be hard to stand, but you can see there's a significant difference, but there are similarities between these three. Now obviously Diesel's got a bit of a oversized backpack or armaments, but other than that there is a lot of similarities between these three. You can see where that black in the middle of the box head is, right here. It's got that black face, like black head and then purple face, like this one. And Diesel took that design as well. I mean, color scheme really does a good job of matching up. So there is that. I mean, obviously, the Combiner Wars Motormaster does not have a semi-cab for feet, but otherwise he looks really close to the G1 counterpart. And we'll get Diesel out of the way. Now for Motormaster's accessories, he has a gun and a sword, which actually combine together to form Menasor's blade. Which looks really sweet, even in Motormaster's hands. But I think it's time we've got to look at Menasor himself, so let's get these guys combined. Okay, and now we have Menasor in his combined mode, and he is a massive looking bot. I mean, this is a big guy. Yeah, Combiner Wars did not skimp out on the size. You want a size comparison? Here is Chromia, a deluxe, and yeah, she's fairly tiny compared to Menasor, which is good. And you want your combiners to be a lot bigger than your normal guys. So yeah. Now, as you can see, this is before putting in Blackjack, who, I'll take care of that right now. You just open up the chest, and if you take a look in there, there is a lot of nice detail that's sculpted in that chest plate without, well, that pre-chest plate. And then you could just take in Blackjack and he just plugs in. You've seen me do this on Blackjack's review. And there you go. Now Menasor is complete as Hasbro wanted him. But to be honest, ooh, it's getting a little tipsy. There we go. That was the first time he threatened to fall over on me, so. But, yeah, as you can see, I don't think Blackjack really does Menasor any favors. I mean, the main torso is very small compared to the rest of the body. I mean, it's like he's got a real stubby body with all long limbs. Or long legs, at least. The arms are fine. But, yeah. Blackjack kind of just makes that look a little more obvious. So I'm not too fond of him. There, so, yeah, we'll take him off. And just have that regular chest piece. And this looks really good. I mean, this does a better job of homaging the Menasor chest plate than Blackjack does. So I like this better. As I said, he's got a bit of a small torso, long legs, and decent sized arms. Which, you know, he's a bit of a bruiser, so I can let that go. I mean, he looks like he's more chest than lower body anyway, so yeah, he's built, bulked up, ready to kill, ready to do some damage. So yeah, this works. Now, it is not very popular with a lot of people due to just like I mentioned, how squat the body is. But there are fan mode ways to fix that, so I'm going to show you one right now. And that just involves detransforming the legs a bit. Rotating them in. Can lower the cod piece a little bit. And I guess this is what people like. I don't know, it doesn't work too well for me. I don't know, I think it makes the legs look a little even bigger than they were. So. And, go. So yeah, and this way you just move the legs by just moving the Menasor legs up, and you can pose them like that. Unfortunately, Motormaster's knees are a lot weaker than his hips, so this doesn't work too well as far as stability. But if it's what you like to do, then who am I to judge? Personally, I'll stick with the default. So yeah, this is my preferred way of having him. And I can live with the small body, but you know, that's the way I like it. I like it like this, you know. There are some add-on kits from like Perfect Effect that'll give him new hands, new feet, and some new torso pieces to help him look more like the G1 self. And there's also a new Motormaster from a third party that's designed based off a G1 Motormaster. So you got options for Menasor. I like him as is. I would love to get the hands, but right now I can't really justify them, so I'm going to have to let those go for now. But in any case, let's get into his articulation. So he's got a ball jointed head, nice range of motion. It's on a hinge as well, so you can get him looking up a good ways, down, nice left right movement. So he's good there. His shoulders, I must not have these arms done right. Let's see. Yeah, dead end arms can be getting in the way sometimes. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I had him a little mistransformed. There we go, that frees him up. Okay, but yeah, arms have ratcheted joints for forward, back, in and out. You've got a bicep swivel for the waist joints. The legs will make nice double jointed arms, double jointed elbows. Wrist swivel. You've got movement at the thumbs, a little movement at the hands. They can open. So you got plenty of arm articulation. You have a swivel at the waist, which Superion actually doesn't have. So yeah, Menasor gets an edge over Superion. You do have forward backward at the hips, in and out. They're on ratchets. Gotta be careful because some of the connections will come loose if you're not careful about how you move his legs. But you also got knee bend and swivel right below the knee. So yeah, he's got a fair load of articulation. So he's quite posable. Oh yeah, and his horns can move if you want to. So yeah, there's plenty of poses you can get Menasor into. For his accessories, he does have his big sword, which was Menasor's, Motormaster's weapons combined. And since all his fists and feet have guns on them, yeah, he's ready to shoot you anytime he wants. Which is pretty cool. Now, if you want to arm him up a little extra more, you can take some of the weapons that were from the Stunticons. Just slide them into the like the Motormaster fist holes. We'll do this the other way around. Oops. Carefully not to de-transform him. Okay, maybe that doesn't work, but you can take breakdown sword like gun and actually put it on his shoulder for a shoulder-mounted weapon. And since his hands are 5mm pegs, you can put any of the extra weapons from the Stunticons into his hands like you would normally, so you have plenty of weapon options. But I think now it's time we got into some comparisons. And yeah, there's a lot of comparisons here. I got a lot of robots waiting to stand next to this guy. So first and foremost, let's bring in G1 Menasor. And yeah, my has he grown. I mean, to think, Menasor in G1 was the shortest combiner of the Scramble City guys. So, to evolve into this bruiser, that's impressive. And I think the evolution went pretty smoothly. Okay. Next up, let's bring in something a little more recent. And that would be Fans Project's Intimidator. Now this is going to be the measuring stick for Menasor, because Intimidator came out just before Combiner Wars was announced, and it is a very impressive set from a very impressive group of third-party creators and Fans Project, and this is quite interesting. Now, for G1 accuracy and display value, I gotta give it to Intimidator. For playability, transformation, and just ease to mess with and enjoy, Combiner Wars Menasor wins flat out. This guy is scary to transform sometimes. He's very complicated, and I'll get more into it on his review, but Menasor transforms like a dream. Easy, intuitive, fun to do. You can take them apart, put them back together, switch the limbs around, and it's always fun to do so. This guy, not so much. He looks great, but does not play as well as he looks. Anyway, next comparison. Let's bring in his rival, Superion. And yeah, these guys look pretty good together. Since Menasor and Superion pretty much debuted together on the Transformers series, it's only fitting that they actually are released together in the Combiner Wars series. So yeah, we're pretty good on this. You got interesting comparison. Superion does look a little bit more like well proportioned, but I like how Menasor really looks like a big, bulky beast of a transformer. So he's got a real vicious charm to him. So yeah, we got those two. And I'm going to bring in a couple iterations of Bruticus. The failed attempt, I guess, would be follow Cybertron Bruticus. And if you're wondering why I'm calling him a failed attempt, take a good look. That is a properly transformed Bruticus. And he's a gangly, really badly proportioned, and the combiner limbs don't work as well as Menasor here. And we'll go back to Fans Project for the next one, being Colossus. And these two have a bit of a history in the G1 cartoon as well. When Bruticus debuted, he was dominating Devastator, almost got Starscream the lead in of the Decepticons, and then Menasor came along, punched him in the jaw, knocked him out, and won the day for Megatron. One punch did what Devastator couldn't do. That says a lot. But yeah, these two look pretty good together. I mean, they're actually fairly well scaled to each other, at least as far as combiner height. So I think they would look good in the display together, at least until Combiner Wars brings us a Bruticus of their own. Oops. Hopefully one that doesn't lose his backpack every 2 seconds. Okay, now we're going to get into a little bit more unique territory, because I have a couple other guys who just happen to be here. First being Shuriken Sentai Ninja, or the Shuriken Sentai Ninja Shurikenjin. So yeah. Yeah, if you want, you can add Menasor, take it to the Megazords, and beat a few of them down, or get beat by them. Whatever you want. He scales well with the Sentai mechs. Next up, we'll bring in the legendary Megazord with the Magic Dragon. And yeah, Menasor is a lot bigger than US Megazords, so look out. And he's also better articulated. Bandai could really take a lesson from Hasbro and Takara. Okay. Do a couple more. We got the Legacy Tiger Zord. That actually looks pretty good together. Again, Menasor is quite a bit bigger, but they do seem to scale well together. And theoretically, at least. I'm not sure exactly how they would actually scale together. But I think last but not least, we'll bring in Beast Hunter's Simplified Optimus Prime. One of the most massive Voyagers ever made. And yeah, Menasor towers over him too. But yeah, this is... As you can see, Menasor is quite the impressive bot. And all in all, I highly recommend him. I don't necessarily recommend Blackjack for him. If you want to put Blackjack on there, that's your choice. Personally, I'm not too fond of him. At least on Menasor. He's great as a standalone robot, but Menasor can do better without Blackjack. So, yeah, you should be able to find the Stunticons online at Big Bad Toy Store or tfsource.com. Otherwise, check out Walmart, Target, Toys R Us, and you should be finding them in stores soon. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and leave a comment and let me know what you think. And anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, have fun, and bye-bye.